To the crisis in Syria. It will be at the top of the agenda at the G8 summit in Northern Ireland tomorrow. But tonight, Canada's Prime Minister has harsh words for Syria's long-standing ally, Russia. Stephen Harper says the civil war won't be solved with Russia's help. And as Jacques Prevost tells us, the crisis in Syria is just one of many items on Harper's agenda.
Security forces are setting up as the Northern Ireland town of Enniskillen prepares to host G8 leaders. The conflict in Syria will occupy much of the G8's attention, and there's a deep split in the group. The U.S. is now ready to arm the rebels after concluding the Syrian government is using chemical weapons against its own people, while Russia is supporting the Assad regime. On the eve of the summit, Prime Minister Stephen Harper says Western leaders have to accept there will be no consensus.
Mr. Putin and his government are supporting the thugs of the Assad regime. We're not going to get a common position with him at the G8. I think what's important is that we continue to work with our allies in the G7 and in NATO to see how we can move the situation in a positive direction.
Russian President Vladimir Putin was in London meeting with the British Prime Minister. David Cameron is much less pessimistic about bringing Putin on side.
We can overcome these differences if we recognise that we share some fundamental aims: to end the conflict, to stop Syria breaking apart, to let the Syrian people choose who governs them.
But for his part, Putin doesn't sound like he's ready to abandon the Assad regime. Russia supplies arms to the legitimate government of Syria in full compliance with the norms of international law. Putin told reporters, "We are not breaching anything." Cameron also wants the G8 summit to tackle tax havens. He's seeking new rules to make it clear who's behind the shell companies and offshore accounts used to evade taxes. Prime Minister Harper says Canada is ready to back this proposal.
There's no upside to tax evasion. It's bad policy, it's bad politics, and governments lose revenue that governments should be getting. Obviously, we believe in low tax rates in Canada, but people need to pay the tax rates that we actually have.
A group that's been fighting for these changes says they could benefit the Canadian taxman.
Canada could be losing anywhere from $7.3 billion to several tens of billions of dollars.
The Prime Minister says the one problem he faces is that no matter what kind of rules the G8 comes up with, he'll have to consult with the provinces because they have jurisdiction over some of these matters. But Harper is confident that won't be a deal breaker. Robin?